Get off my bench. Old man. I'm just sitting here. Son. Don't call me son. Tyler Cross grabbed the old man's collar and yanked him forward. 4 of his friends closed in behind him. Phones already up. Already recording. You're driving me crazy. You stubborn old man. Tyler sneered. Somebody teach him a lesson. They circled him, cornered him. A 74-year-old man against 5 grown men in the middle of a public park. Marcus Webb stood up slowly, every joint protesting. He looked at Tyler Cross without a trace of fear. You sure about that? Son Tyler laughed. He had no idea who he was talking to. He had no idea that, under the porch of a quiet house on Oakfield Road, there was a shoebox. Inside it, a championship belt, wrapped in a scarf that once belonged to a woman named Dorothy, a woman who had been gone 9 years, but whose roses still bloomed every spring. He had no idea that the homeless old man teaching kids to box on cracked concrete had once been called the Ghost. 23 fights, 23 wins, 15 knockouts, and he had no idea that in less than 2 weeks, those same hands he was mocking would put him on the ground in 5 seconds flat. This is the story of Marcus Webb. The day a group of teenagers picked the wrong old man in the park, and the secret that would take down a councilman and change an entire city. Marcus Webb had lived on Oakfield Road for 41 years. Same house, same porch, same cracked front step he kept, meaning to fix and never did. The neighborhood had changed around him. New fences, new faces, new money creeping in from the east side, buying up the old houses one by one. But Marcus stayed. He stayed because this was where Dorothy had planted her roses. And even though Dorothy had been gone 9 years now, the roses still came back every spring, right on schedule, like she'd left a piece of herself in the soil, just to make sure he never forgot. He was 74, moved a little slower every year. His left eye still saw the world just fine. His right eye saw nothing at all. Hadn't since 1984. He told people it was glaucoma. That was easier than the truth. Most folks on Oakfield Road knew Marcus as the quiet man who swept his sidewalk at 6 in the morning. The one who carried Mrs. Alvarez's groceries up her steps every Tuesday. Rain or shine, Polita, private, never made trouble. What they didn't know was that Marcus Webb had once been called the Ghost. 23 professional fights, 23 wins, a middleweight championship belt sitting in a shoebox under his bed, wrapped in one of Dorothy's old silk scarves, untouched for 3 decades. He never talked about it. Not once. Not to the neighbors. Not to the mailman. Not even to the pastor at the church. He stopped attending after Dorothy passed. As far as this street was concerned, Marcus Webb had always just been Marcus, the old man with the roses and the bad eye. Every morning at 7 o'clock, rain or shine, he walked 4 blocks to Brandon Park. He carried a canvas bag, inside 2 pairs of boxing gloves, a jump rope, and hand wraps so worn the elastic had given up years ago. He'd set up near the basketball courts, under the big oak tree, where the roots had cracked the concrete into something that almost looked like the outline of a ring. The kids had started showing up about 3 years back. First, it was a boy named Andre, 12 years old, and angry at the whole world for reasons nobody quite understood. Then a girl named Simone, 10, faster than any of the boys and not afraid to prove it. And then there was Elijah. Elijah was the one who kept Marcus coming back, morning after morning, no matter the weather. 10 years old, small for his age, a stutter that turned even simple words into something he had to fight for. His father had been in prison since Elijah was 4. His grandmother brought him to the park every day before her shift at the hospital started, because there was no money for a babysitter, and there was no one else. The first day, Elijah just watched, hid behind the water fountain, 30 feet away. Like he was afraid getting too close might cost him something. Second day. He stood a little nearer. Third day. Marcus held out a pair of gloves. "You want to try?" Elijah shook his head fast. Eyes down. "That's okay," Marcus said, gentle as anything. "They'll be here tomorrow." It took 2 weeks. 2 full weeks of Elijah watching from the same spot. Before one morning he finally walked up, put his hands out, and let Marcus wrap them. His fingers were shaking the whole time. Marcus pretended not to notice. "Plant your feet like this," Marcus told him, showing the stance. Left foot forward, right foot back. Weight balanced right down the middle. The exact same stance his own trainer, a man named Curtis, had drilled into him 50 years earlier in a basement gym that didn't exist anymore. "Now hands up," Marcus said. "Protect what matters." Elijah raised his fists. They barely reached his own chin. "Good," Marcus said. "Real good." Elijah smiled. His grandmother would later say that was the first real smile she'd seen on her grandson's face in months. After that, Elijah showed up 6 mornings a week. He learned the jab first, then the cross. Then how to slip a punch by moving his head just 2 inches to the left, no more. No less. Because Marcus was precise about everything. The way a man is precise when precision once saved his life. Marcus taught the way Curtis had taught him. Passion. Quiet. One thing at a time. He never raised his voice. Never pushed too hard. When Elijah got frustrated and threw the gloves down in the dirt, Marcus would pick them up without a word, set them gently on the bench, and say the same thing every time. "They'll be here tomorrow." And Elijah always came back. Because what Marcus was really teaching him wasn't boxing. It was something underneath the boxing. The belief that your body could do what your mind was too afraid to try. That you could stand in front of something that scared you half to death and not run. That the stutter didn't decide who Elijah was. That the missing father didn't decide who he was. That being small for his age. Being poor. Being the kid other people looked past. None of it decided anything. The gloves just made it easier to believe that. Every night, after Elijah went home, Marcus walked back to his empty house alone. He'd water Dorothy's roses on the way in, sit on the porch for a while before going inside, and in a shoebox under his bed, wrapped in silk, a championship belt sat in the dark, waiting. Nobody on Oakfield Road knew it was there. Nobody knew that the quiet old man with the bad eye had once made grown men cross to the other side of a gym just by walking in. But that was about to change. Because in 1 week's time, a 22-year-old with a following of 200,000 people was about to walk into Brandon Park, looking for content. And he was about to find the last thing on earth he expected. It was a Tuesday. Late September. When Tyler Cross first rolled into Brandon Park, he came in loud, 5 friends behind him, all in their 20s, 2 of them carrying gym bags like props they'd never actually use. One had a speaker strapped over his shoulder, blasting music loud enough to rattle the chain-link fence around the basketball courts. Tyler was 22, son of Councilman Richard Cross, a name that opened doors, closed complaints, and made police reports quietly disappear. Tyler had never worked a real job in his life. Never needed to. He spent his days making content. Pranks. Mostly. The kind aimed at people who couldn't fight back. Homeless men. Old women waiting at bus stops. He called it comedy. His 200,000 followers agreed with him. That morning, Marcus was working with Elijah on keeping his guard up after a jab. "Bring it back fast." Marcus said, "The punch that hurts you is the one you never see coming." Elijah nodded. Threw the jab. Pulled it back clean. Getting better every single week. Tyler spotted them from across the park. An old man in dark glasses, teaching a skinny kid to box on cracked concrete with taped-up gloves. "Yo," Get this, Tyler said to the friend holding the phone. This is gold. They walked over. Tyler kicked the canvas bag on the ground. Gloves and wraps spilled everywhere. What is this, some kind of homeless gym? His friends laughed. The phone was already recording. Marcus didn't look up. He just put a hand on Elijah's shoulder. Pick up your gloves. Son. Hey. I'm talking to you. Tyler stepped between them. You got a permit for this. Can't just set up camp in a public park. Old man. Marcus looked at him with his one good eye. Calm. Measured. The way a man looks at something he's seen 100 times before and stopped being afraid of a long time ago. We're just training, Marcus said quietly. Training. Tyler grinned straight into the camera. Training for what? The retirement home Olympics. More laughter. Elijah's hands were shaking. Not from the cold. Marcus picked up the canvas bag. Packed the gloves back in. Took Elijah's hand. Come on, he said. We'll come back tomorrow. They walked away. Tyler's laughter followed them all the way to the sidewalk. Marcus came back the next morning. So did Tyler. This time, Tyler brought a water bottle not to drink. He waited until Marcus was mid-lesson, showing Elijah how to pivot on his back foot, then walked up behind him and emptied the entire bottle over his head. Water ran down Marcus's face, dripped off his chin, soaked through his collar. His dark glasses fogged up. He didn't move. Tyler's friends howled. 2 phones out now. Baptized him. One of them shouted. You're still here, Tyler said. I thought I told you to crawl home. All men. Marcus wiped his face with his sleeve, took off his glasses, cleaned them on his shirt. Slow and unbothered. Put them back on. Elijah, he said quietly. Show me that pivot again. Elijah stood frozen, eyes wide, lips pressed together so tight the stutter wouldn't have a chance to escape. It's okay, Marcus said. Show me. Elijah pivoted. His feet were perfect. His hands were trembling. Tyler filmed for another 10 minutes before he got bored and left. But that night, he posted the clip anyway. Caption: Old blind man gets baptized in the park. 14,000 likes by morning. Most of the comments were laughing. He came back Thursday. This time he went straight for the canvas bag and pulled out Marcus's gloves. The old ones cracked leather. Laces worn thin as thread. The ones Marcus had owned since 1979. The same ones Dorothy used to keep polished on the mantle like a trophy. Even years after he'd stopped fighting. Tyler held them up to the camera. Look at these museum pieces. He tossed one to a friend. They played catch with it across the court, while Marcus stood there and watched every throw. Give those back, Marcus said. His voice stayed even. His jaw did not, or what Tyler dangled the glove over a trash can. You want it, come get it. Old man. Marcus didn't move. Tyler dropped the glove in the trash. Then the other one. There, he said. Now you match the rest of the garbage out here. Marcus said nothing. He turned to Elijah. Let's call it a day. That night, at 10 o'clock, under a streetlight, Marcus fished both gloves out of the trash. He sat on his porch and cleaned them with a damp cloth for almost an hour. Rubbed the leather, the way Dorothy used to. Back when she'd sit beside him doing the exact same thing before every fight. His hands were steady the whole time. His breathing was not. Later that night, in the garage, the heavy bag still hung from the same ceiling beam he'd installed back in 1986, back when he still thought, somewhere in the back of his mind, that he might return to the ring someday. He hadn't touched it in 30 years. But tonight, his hands found it in the dark, without thinking. Left jab, right cross, left hook. The bag swung. He caught it. The rhythm came back to him like breathing, like it had never actually left. Just been waiting somewhere under the surface for someone to give it a reason. His right eye saw nothing. His hands remembered everything. He hit that bag for an hour, then 2, then 3. He never told anyone. Not Elijah. Not Mrs. Alvarez next door. Not even Dorothy, whose roses he still watered every single morning before he ever left for the park. Something inside Marcus Webb was waking up, and it scared him more than Tyler Cross ever could. By the following week, only Elijah was left. Andre's mother pulled him from the group after the baptism video hit 50,000 views. "I can't have my son around that," she told Marcus over the phone. She didn't mean Marcus himself. She meant the danger that seemed to follow him now. The danger of a young man with a phone and a father who could make problems disappear. Simone's father did the same thing 2 days later. "Find somewhere else to play," he told her. Simone cried for 2 days straight. Elijah's grandmother didn't have the luxury of finding somewhere else. She worked 6 to 4. Every day. No exceptions. The park was all they had. So every morning, Marcus showed up. Every morning, Elijah showed up. And every morning, Tyler Cross showed up too. It was a Friday in early October, the kind of morning where the air smells like wet leaves and the sky can't decide between gray and blue, when Tyler decided to make what he called his masterpiece. He arrived at 8:15 with 6 friends instead of 5. One of them had a ring light clipped to his phone. A real setup this time. Tyler had posted the night before. "Tomorrow we finish this. Live at Brandon Park. Don't miss it." 11,000 people were already watching the stream when they walked through the gate. Marcus saw them coming. He put his hand on Elijah's shoulder. "Stay behind me," he said quietly. Well, Tyler grinned straight into the camera. "The Blind Museum is still open. You guys watching this, watch this." He reached down and snatched the gloves right off Elijah's hands. Elijah stumbled backward. "Off balance. Give those back," Marcus said. "Shut up." Tyler tossed the gloves to a friend, then turned his attention to the boy. "You know what your problem is. Kid, you got nobody. Your daddy's in jail. Your mama's gone. And your coach here can't even see straight. You're nothing. Just like him." Elijah's lip trembled. He didn't say a word. The stutter had swallowed everything he might have wanted to say. "Leave the boy alone," Marcus said. His voice had dropped low, the kind of low that sounds like a warning. "If you know what to listen for." Tyler didn't know, or what. He straightened up, looked into the camera, grinned wider than before. Then he shoved Elijah, both hands, full force, into a 10-year-old's chest. Elijah flew backward and hit the edge of the concrete where the tree roots had cracked it open. His head bounced off the ground. Blood appeared on his forehead, a thin line at first. Then it ran down past his eyebrow and into his eye. He didn't cry. He just lay there, looking up at Marcus with one eye open and one eye full of blood, like a mirror cracking down the middle. The stream had 16,000 viewers now. Marcus looked down at Elijah, at the blood, at the boy's hands still curled into fists, even flat on his back, still in guard position, still protecting what matters. Exactly like he'd been taught. Something shifted behind Marcus's eyes. Not anger. Something older than anger. Something that had been sleeping in a garage for 30 years and was now fully, completely awake. Marcus took off his dark glasses, folded them, set them on the bench. He turned to Tyler. "You sure about that?" "Son." The same words from the very first day, but the voice underneath them was different now. No trembling. No patience. No old man. Tyler laughed. "What are you gonna do?" "Grandpa bleed on me," he threw a punch. Alaze. Wide right hand, the kind of punch a man throws when he's never once been hit back in his life. Olarm. No foundation. No guard. Marcus slipped it 2 inches to the left. No more. No less. The movement was so fast that Tyler's fist hit nothing but air. His own momentum carried him forward. Off balance. His eyes went wide. That was the first time real fear touched his face. Marcus's left jab landed before Tyler could even reset straight down the center. Clean. The sound wasn't a thud. It was a crack. Tyler's head snapped back. His nose shifted half an inch to the right. He staggered, hands coming up too late. Too high. Marcus's right cross came underneath, into the solar plexus. Every molecule of air left Tyler's lungs in one single sound. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. Then the uppercut. Marcus planted his back foot, rotated his hips, exactly the way Curtis had taught him 50 years earlier in a basement gym that no longer existed, and drove his right fist upward from his waist. It connected under Tyler's chin with the precision of a man who had thrown that exact punch 10,000 times in the ring. In the garage. In his sleep, Tyler Cross left the ground, both feet, just for a second. Then he hit the concrete face first, and didn't move. 3 punches, 5 seconds, 46 years of silence. Broken in 5 seconds flat. The park went quiet. 16,000 people on the stream went quiet. Tyler's friends stood frozen. Phones still recording. No one saying a word. Marcus stood over him. His hands were shaking now, not from exhaustion. From the flood of something he'd spent 30 years trying to bury. He looked at his own fists. Opened them. Closed them. Opened them again. Then he turned around, walked to Elijah, and knelt down beside him. He pressed his palm gently against the cut on the boy's forehead. The same hands that had just put a 22-year-old man on the ground were now holding a 10-year-old's face like it was made of glass. "You okay?" he asked. Elijah nodded. His eyes were wide but not afraid. Something else entirely. "Mr. Marcus," he whispered. "You can fight." Marcus picked the boy up, set him gently on the bench, and wrapped his forehead with the old hand wraps from the canvas bag. Then he sat beside him, put his arm around his shoulders, and said nothing at all. There was nothing left to say. Across the park, Tyler Cross was being helped to his feet by his friends. His nose was bleeding. His jaw hung slightly open on one side. The ring light was still on. The stream had been recording the entire time. 22 minutes of footage. And within the hour, a clip of just 3 punches would be cut from it, uploaded, and shared. By noon, it had 4 million views. By the next morning, 40 million. And that was only the beginning of what was about to come crashing down on all of them. The hashtag started small, Park Knockout, but by evening, it had already been replaced by something bigger. Blind Champion. And somewhere across town, in a quiet living room, a 68-year-old retired sports journalist named Walter Grant watched the clip for the 11th time. He paused it right at the uppercut, zoomed in on the footwork, the pivot, the hip rotation. He knew that technique. He'd seen it before once, 30 years ago, in a ring. From a fighter they used to call the Ghost. Walter picked up his phone. Councilman Richard Cross saw the video Saturday morning. 9 o'clock. Sharp. His chief of staff sent it with a single line attached. "This is your son." Richard watched it twice. Then he closed his office door and made 4 phone calls. The first to the police chief, a man who owed his job to Richard's endorsement. The second to the district attorney's office. The third to a media consultant who'd managed 3 of his campaigns. The fourth to his personal attorney. By Sunday evening, Marcus Webb had been charged with aggravated assault. The arrest came at 6 the next morning. 2 officers knocked on his door. He opened it in the same clothes he wore to the park canvas jacket. Dark glasses. The bag of gloves already sitting by the door, ready for that morning session that would never happen. "Mr. Webb, you're under arrest for the assault of Tyler Cross." Marcus didn't resist. He set the bag down on the porch, took off his glasses, and held out his wrists without a word. "Mrs." Alvarez watched from her window next door. She saw them put handcuffs on a 74-year-old man at sunrise. She called her daughter and cried for 20 minutes straight. Richard Cross held a press conference that afternoon. Suit pressed. American flag pin on his lapel. He stood behind the podium with Tyler beside him, jaw wired shut. Neck brace. Arm in a sling. The camera loved every second of it. A father protecting his injured son. The image was perfect. My son was violently attacked by an unhinged individual in a public park. Richard said, "This was not self-defense. This was a brutal, unprovoked assault by someone with a clear history of violence." He paused, looked down at his notes, looked back up with practiced grief. "I'm asking the DA to pursue the maximum sentence. No one, regardless of age, has the right to put their hands on another person." No reporter asked about Elijah. No reporter asked about the 20 minutes of harassment that came before those 3 punches. Richard's media team had already sent out a carefully edited clip 90 seconds long. Starting the exact moment Marcus took off his glasses, everything before that had been quietly cut away. The narrative was set. Cable news ran it with a new headline: "Elderly man viciously attacks youth in park." They slowed down the uppercut, zoomed in on Tyler hitting the concrete, showed his hospital photo-swollen face. Neck brace. Tubes. One anchor called Marcus a ticking time bomb hiding in a public space. They never showed Elijah. Never mentioned the blood on a 10-year-old's forehead. The comment sections turned. Not all of them, but enough. That old man could have killed him. He needs to be in a facility. Why was he even allowed around children? A petition appeared online by Tuesday. 800 signatures in a day. Marcus was released on bail Tuesday morning. His public defender, a young woman named Rachel Kim, juggling more cases than she could count, told him plainly the DA was pushing for felony assault. And Councilman Cross was leaning hard on the judge. "They're saying you're dangerous," she said, "that you used trained fighting skills against an unarmed person. That's what makes it aggravated." "What about the boy?" Marcus asked. "What about what Tyler did to Elijah?" Rachel looked down at her desk. "The Cross family hasn't been charged with anything. Tyler's statement says he was trying to mediate a dispute when you attacked him without warning." "That's a lie." "I know, but they have a councilman, a media team, and a DA who plays golf with Richard Cross every Thursday. We have a viral video that half the country now thinks shows an old man beating up a kid. He's 22, on camera, with a neck brace. He looks 18. That's all that matters right now." A restraining order was filed Wednesday. Marcus was barred from coming within 500 feet of Brandon Park, signed by a judge who had, as it happened, attended one of Richard Cross's fundraiser dinners just 3 months earlier. That night, someone threw a rock through Marcus's front window. No note, no face, just a fist-sized hole in the glass, and shards scattered across Dorothy's old rug. Marcus swept them up in silence, taped a piece of cardboard over the hole, sat on the couch in the dark for a long time. He couldn't go to the park, couldn't see Elijah, couldn't do the one thing that had given his mornings meaning since Dorothy died. The canvas bag sat by the door like a promise he could no longer keep. Elijah's grandmother called that night, her voice thin and worn down to almost nothing. "Mr. Webb, I don't know what to do. He won't eat. He won't talk. He just sits by the window and looks toward the park. This morning I found him wrapping his own hands, just sitting there, throwing punches at the air. Tell him I'll be back," Marcus said. When Marcus didn't answer, he didn't know. The next morning, he woke at 7 out of habit, got dressed, picked up the bag, walked to the front door, stopped, set the bag back down, sat on the porch instead. He did the same thing the next morning, and the next, and the one after that. On the 4th morning, he found Elijah sitting on his front steps. The boy had walked 11 blocks alone, before sunrise, just to find him. His hands were already wrapped badly, lopsided, tape bunching between his fingers. the way a 10-year-old wraps his own hands when his coach isn't there to do it for him. "Mr. Marcus," Elijah said, "I don't want to stop." Marcus looked at him, split lip still healing, dark circles under his eyes, and his fists still up, still in guard position, still protecting what matters. Marcus knelt down, unwrapped the boy's hands, and rewrapped them properly. 2 loops around the wrist, 3 across the knuckles, pulled tight between each finger, the exact same way he'd been doing it for 50 years. "We're not stopping," he said. They trained on the porch that morning. No oak tree, no cracked concrete, no canvas bag of real gear, just an old man, a boy, and a pair of gloves that had somehow survived everything the world had thrown at them so far. They'd taken his park, thrown a rock through his window, and still, an 11-year-old no. A 10-year-old had walked 11 blocks in the dark just to say 4 words. "I don't want to stop." Meanwhile, across town, Walter Grant was pulling 30-year-old files out of a filing cabinet in his basement, chasing a memory that was about to change everything. Walter Grant had covered boxing for 41 years. Ringside at the Garden, press row in Atlantic City. He'd watched 400 professional fights in person, written about 300 of them. He knew fighters the way a piano tuner knows pianos, not by looking at them, but by listening to how they moved. He watched the Brandon Park clip for the 14th time on a Wednesday evening. His wife called him in for dinner. He didn't hear her. It was the uppercut that haunted him. Not the power, though the power was real. It was the setup. The way the old man planted his back foot at exactly 45 degrees. The way his hips rotated a half beat before his arm even moved. The way the fist traveled up from the waist. Not the shoulder. That wasn't a street fighter's uppercut. That was a trained technique. A specific one. He'd seen it exactly once before in his entire career. Atlantic City, 1984. A middleweight title fight. A fighter everyone just called the Ghost. Walter pulled up his archive, 41 years of notes, fight cards, and press clippings stored in filing cabinets in his basement. It took him 20 minutes to find the right folder. Marcus the Ghost Webb. 23 fights. 23 wins. 15 knockouts. Middleweight champion at 28. Then nothing. The record just stopped. No retirement announcement. No farewell fight. One day he was the most dangerous middleweight in the division. The next, he was simply gone. Walter remembered the old rumors, an unlicensed bout, a serious injury, but nothing ever confirmed. No record with the Boxing Commission. No promoter ever named. Marcus Webb had vanished, and the sport had simply moved on without him. Walter zoomed back in on the viral clip, paused it the moment Marcus took off his dark glasses. The right eye clouded, unfocused, dead, a detached retina, the kind of injury that comes from one very specific kind of impact. He picked up the phone and called a source at the State Boxing Commission. "I need everything you have on unlicensed bouts in '84. Middleweight division. Anything involving an eye injury." The source called back Thursday morning. "There's nothing in the official record, but I found something in the sealed complaint files. Anonymous complaint filed March of 1984. About an underground fight organized in a warehouse on Fulton Street. The complaint names the promoter, guy named Richard Cross." Walter sat down slowly. He read the name again. Then he thought about the press conference from Monday. Councilman Richard Cross. Flag pin gleaming. Standing at the podium. "We are a city of laws." The same man. Walter drove to Oakfield Road that Thursday afternoon. Knocked on the door. Marcus opened it, dark glasses on. Cardboard still taped over the broken window behind him. "Mr. Webb, my name is Walter Grant. I covered your title fight in Atlantic City. Back in '84. Marcus didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stood there like a man deciding whether to shut the door, or finally step through it after 30 years. "I know who you are," Walter said. "I know what happened to your eye. And I think I know who did it." Marcus looked at him for a long moment. Then he stepped aside and let him in. They sat in the living room for 2 hours. Marcus told him everything: the warehouse on Fulton Street, the heavyweight who outweighed him by 40 pounds, the illegal elbow, waking up in the hospital with one eye gone forever, the promoter who vanished overnight, the career that ended with no press conference, no farewell, no explanation, just silence. "I didn't know his name back then," Marcus said quietly. "He was just a voice behind a curtain. I never saw his face. His name was Richard Cross," Walter said. Marcus went still. He looked over at the shoebox on the shelf, Dorothy's scarf still wrapped around the belt inside. His hands lay flat on his knees. "And his son," Marcus said slowly, "is the one from the park." "Yes." Marcus closed his eyes. One good eye. One dead. Both of them shut for 30 years. Walter spent the next 48 hours building the story. County records, business filings, property deeds. In 1984, Richard Cross was 29 years old, running an unlicensed boxing promotion out of a warehouse he'd leased under a shell company. No referees, no doctors, no commission oversight. Fighters paid in cash, no medical coverage, no liability, no records anywhere. On March 14th, 1984, Marcus, the Ghost, Webb fought in one of those bouts. His opponent landed an illegal elbow that detached his retina. There was no ringside doctor. By the time Marcus reached the hospital, the damage was already permanent. Richard Cross shut the whole operation down the following week, changed the name on his business filings, moved into real estate, then local politics, then city council. 3 terms. Chair of the Public Safety Committee. The man who'd spent a decade telling the city he kept it safe had once run the operation that ended a champion's career and left him half blind. And now his son had cornered that very same man in a park, poured water on his head, thrown away his gloves, shoved a 10-year-old boy onto broken concrete. And when the champion finally fought back 3 punches, 5 seconds, the councilman had used every ounce of his power to try to bury him a second time. Walter published the story Friday morning. Front page: the ghost of Brandon Park, how a city councilman destroyed a boxing champion twice. Everything was in it. The sealed complaint, the warehouse address, the shell company, the 1984 medical records, side-by-side photos: Marcus at 28, holding the middleweight belt, and Marcus at 74, sitting on a park bench with spray paint behind him. The uppercut from the viral clip matched frame by frame against footage from the 1984 title fight. Sam technique. Same fighter. 30 years apart. Richard Cross read it at 6 in the morning. Standing in his kitchen, his wife said his face went white. He called his attorney. No answer. He called his chief of staff. She'd already resigned by email at 5:45 a.m., 12 minutes after the story went live. By Saturday night, the article had 40 million views. #BlindChampion came back. But this time it carried a different weight. This time, people understood. The old man in the park wasn't just a fighter. He was a man who'd been robbed of everything. By a family that had just tried to rob him again. The charges against Marcus were dropped by Sunday. The restraining order suspended. By Monday, the state attorney general had opened a full investigation into Richard Cross, the underground fights, the sealed complaint, the obstruction, all of it. By Thursday, Richard Cross was formally charged with racketeering and obstruction of justice. He resigned that same week, not voluntarily. The council voted him out. Unanimously. Tyler was charged separately: assault on a minor, harassment, criminal mischief. His account was suspended. His 200,000 followers scattered to the wind. The boxing world found Marcus before the courts even finished. The WBA issued a formal statement, recognizing his record: 23 fights, 23 wins, 15 knockouts, and condemning the fight that had stolen the rest of his career. A former champion named Carlos Rivera recorded a message that went viral all on its own. "I always wondered who the ghost was. Now I know, and I wish I could have fought him. I think he would have beaten me." Marcus called Elijah's grandmother that Sunday afternoon. "Tell him to meet me at the park tomorrow," he said. 7 o'clock. Under the oak tree, the city later passed a resolution funding a permanent boxing program at Brandon Park, new equipment, a covered training area, licensed coaches, free for every kid under 16. When they asked Marcus what to name it, he didn't hesitate for even a second. The Dorothy Webb boxing program. He said, "After my wife, she's the reason I kept my hands down for 30 years. And she's the reason I finally put them back up." 6 months after the program launched, Elijah stepped into the ring for his very first amateur boxing match, a youth exhibition at the community center. 10 years old, 42 pounds lighter than his opponent. Hands shaking so bad in the locker room that Marcus had to wrap them twice. "You scared?" Marcus asked. Elijah nodded. "Good," Marcus said. "Scared means you care. Now plant your feet." Elijah walked into that ring. Left foot forward, right foot back, hands up. He won in the second round, a clean cross to the body that dropped his opponent to one knee. The crowd came out of their seats. His grandmother screamed so loud the referee turned around to look, and across the ring, Elijah found Marcus's eyes. Marcus nodded once. That was enough. It was always going to be enough. Outside, walking home, Marcus passed Dorothy's roses, blooming early that year. He stopped, touched one of the petals, smiled. Then he kept walking, because that's what this story was really about. From the very first punch to the very last. Not revenge, not fame, not even justice. Though justice found its way there in the end. It was about a man who showed up every single morning, for a boy who had nobody else showing up for him. And it was about a boy who, when the whole world tried to take that man away, walked 11 blocks in the dark, alone, just to say, "I don't want to stop," somewhere out there. Someone did that for you too. Showed up when they didn't have to. Kept your hands up when you couldn't. Who was it? Tell me in the comments. And if this story reached you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Hit subscribe, because next time, someone else's whole world is about to change too.